was at this moment Jackson knew. He fucked up.
Good day there once again viewers, your mate Kamikaze78 here. Today I wanted to go through 23 pointers, tips and tricks behind getting into and playing Squad. As of today, the game has launched into a free-to-play weekend, and it's quite possible that you yourself are a brand new player who jumped into their first match all excited and roaring to get into the battle, only to be instantly confused by it all. Well, fear no more my friend, for today we're going to be going through the basics that will help you play Squad like an absolute pro. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Tip number 1, always make sure you get yourself into a squad. I mean, the hint is really in the name of the game, but running lone wolf in this game is going to get you killed time and time again. So running with a squad is absolutely key. Number 2, when you are just starting out in Squad, always pick the standard rifleman class and avoid all of the specialty classes. While I understand that the Grenadier, Light AT and Automatic Rifleman classes sound fun and all, these classes have extra roles that the squad leader requires them to accomplish, which is something that as a new player you shouldn't be concerned about. Focus on learning the basics of the game first and then move on to the more advanced classes later down the track. Number 3, once you are in a squad, stick to those squad members. They are your bread and butter in this game. Just because you are technically in a squad doesn't give you an excuse to run off lone wolf willy-nilly. Number 4, if you've joined mid-game, in order to stick with your squad you have to find them and meet up with them first. Use the M key to bring up your map and use the N key to cycle through the map's zoom levels. Use your compass bearing and your map position to figure out which way you need to go. It takes some time, but you will get used to it. Number 5, once you are sticking with your squad, talk to them. Communication is of utmost importance in this game to do well, and to complement that importance, there are 2 types of voice communication built into the game that are superbly powerful and should be used. You have your local region chat, which will transmit your voice to all allies in the local vicinity, and you have your squad radio chat that will transmit your voice to your entire squad no matter how far away they are from you. Number 6, with that said, don't talk too much. Spamming the radio will quickly put you in a squad leader's bad book. In fact, it'll put you in the entire squad's bad book, especially if you start using the radio to talk about what you had for dinner. Use initiative to decide what channel of voice to use. If your squad's in a bit of a downtime, joke in the local chat, but don't use the radio chat for standard banter. Number 7, when you see a target, always call them out before engaging. Simple things like a landmark or a compass bearing can ensure that your whole squad can easily get eyes on the target, as opposed to being confused as to where the enemies are. In this game, there is no 3D spotting, there is no way for you to mark where the hostiles are, so it's up to you to tell your squad so that they can get eyes on the targets as well. Calling out audio contacts such as weapon sounds that don't belong to your faction, or vehicle sounds is also a good thing to do. Which moves us very nicely onto tip number 8, learn weapon sounds. I can't stress this enough. Go into the firing range and learn the audio of each of the weapons in the game. Sometimes the first way you're going to know there's an enemy in the area is by the sound of their weapon, and knowing the difference between allied and hostile weapon sounds is going to be downright key. Number 9, learn the uniforms of the different factions in the game. Sure, a United States soldier and a militia are going to look incredibly different from one another, but there are some maps where the 2 factions that are fighting each other can look very, very similar, so knowing the extremely slight differences in their uniforms will ensure that there's less friendly fire incidents and less hesitations before engaging a target. Number 10, every time you see a vacant vehicle, don't go racing towards it thinking you're about to pull off a sick 50-0 KDR. Vehicles here are locked until a squad leader provides permission for you to man the vehicle, and vehicles require at least 2 people to operate effectively, that being a driver and a gunner in most instances. While switching between seats is possible, it's slow, clumsy and efficient, and often leaves you as a sitting duck most of the time. 10.5, as tempting as it may be, try to avoid the gunner and driver positions of a vehicle as a newer player. The vehicles do require a lot of game sense to use effectively, and because of that, as a new player, game sense is not something you're really going to have. So if you want to avoid pissing off your entire squad, avoid sitting in the driver and gunner positions of the vehicle. Number 11, holding down shift while aiming down sights allows you to zoom in a little bit more when using weapons that don't have zoom optics. Keep in mind mind that if you keep your character moving for a prolonged period of time while using this shift zoom, your character will break into a sprint, which can be a bit awkward at times. Number 12. In this game, you don't need to hit an enemy to contribute to the fight. Simply suppressing targets, especially when manning a vehicle or heavy weaponry, is just as effective as hitting them. An enemy sniper is going to have a much harder time getting clean shots if you suppress that area that he's camped up in. Number 13. With that said, never go full auto. Ammo isn't infinite, and running out means a long walk back to the base to resupply. Suppressing fire doesn't have to be 10 rounds a second from your individual weapon alone if you have 8 other guys firing at the same area. Short controlled bursts with semi-automatic mode is the most effective form of shooting in this game, unless of course you are the automatic rifleman class, in which small bursts with the full automatic mode. Number 14. Always ensure that there is at least one person in the squad covering a push across an open area, or that smoke has been deployed to cover the push accordingly. If you're crossing across an open field or a road, having someone in the squad watching for enemies ensures that your squad isn't completely wiped out and blindsided without warning. One guy prepared to fight back is a lot better than having 9 guys caught out in the open trying to fight back. Or as per stated before, use smoke. It's what it's there for. Number 15. Having a buddy to stick with can be very useful in CQC environments. Use a buddy to cover each other in building breaching or to cover you when you are healing up. Number 16. Bullets in this game can and will penetrate surfaces, even buildings per se. If you're taking fire from a large caliber weapon, then a piece of sheet metal isn't going to do a whole lot, and even a brick wall might succumb to the fire. When under fire from these heavy weapons, focus on making your profile as small as possible by getting down into a prone position and using smoke grenades to conceal your escape as opposed to finding something to put between you and the fire. Number 17. When you take a hit, get out your bandage and hold right click to stop the bleeding. Bleeding damage will occur most times you take a hit and will continue to drain your health as long as you are bleeding. After stopping the bleeding, seek out a medic to get yourself back up to full health. You can also use your bandage to help out other squad members who have run out by holding the left click. There are 3 types of spawns available in this game to you. You have your main spawn, which is where everyone starts out and where your vehicles are located, an FOB, which is a structure that allows for fortification construction in the vicinity and provides a spawn point for the entire team after the HAB's structure has been built, and the rally point, a spawn point for individual squads that is placed down by a squad leader. It can be used 10 times before expiring. Take note, capturing a base does not grant you a spawn point like other games would normally allow. Number 19. If your squad has been wiped out and you have limited spawns remaining on the rally point, it is always best to let your squad leader spawn first so they can put down another rally point for the rest of the squad. This ensures that all of you can spawn closely back into the fight as a team and avoids marooning certain players back at the main base for a long-ass walk. Number 20. Medics are the life support of a squad, so never put them in a position where they are in danger. If they can't get to you to revive you without being in enemy fire, then it is better for you to respawn. A medic should never have to take the point of an attack also. They should be the supporting unit at the back at best. Number 21. If a medic is healing you, cover them. Don't just stare at them as they use their magical force-like powers to heal you. Number 22. Conserve your stamina. Sprinting is a privilege, not a right in this game. You can only sprint for a set amount of time before your character needs to get his breath. And you never want to get caught out in the open not being able to sprint. So sometimes the slower route is the route best taken. And finally, number 23. Ask questions. No one is going to bite your head off. If you have any questions about the game, never hesitate to ask a squad member. There is no such thing as a dumb question when it comes to this game, and it's better to ask a million dumb questions than to remain silent and a bit clueless about the game. And folks, with that, that's going to conclude today's 23 tips, tricks, and pointers as to how to play squad for you new players. Guys, I really do hope you found today's video enjoyable. If you did, a backhanding of that like button would be greatly appreciated. And say you've been playing squad since its inception and I've missed out on some incredibly important tips here, leave them in the comment section down below for everybody and I will be sure to add them to an annotation on the screen currently. And if you guys are new to the game, let me know what your experiences have been thus far. I'd love to hear what you all have to say. If you guys enjoyed today's video and you find yourself backhanding that like button and you're new here, go around and backhand that subscribe button whilst you're at it to keep up to date with the content in which I'm releasing here on my channel. Once again guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out, and I'll be seeing you all next time. Have a good one.